ESA is an infrastructure company with several businesses. One of them, electricity transmission, is in our belief a very important one for the implications for climate change. And that is because even though we build and operate transmission lines in several countries, by doing this, we have learned and we are convinced of how important it may be for the efficient management of the systems to be able to have interconnected systems in which different countries may reach the agreements in order to jointly optimize the management of their systems. And that cannot be done as long as we don't have the interconnection links between countries, between systems, and we don't have the commercial and economic rules in order to be able to do these interchanges. So we in ESA are strong believers in the importance of that. We believe that, for example, in the region in Latin America, it could be possible to reduce carbon emissions in significant amounts, not to say to have economic gains also in huge amounts, as long as the governments are able to reach the agreements in order to have easy, speedy, fluent interchanges of energy. So that's the main reason why we are here, because we believe that is a very huge opportunity to save, let's say, more than 10 million tons of carbon a year. In general, the typical thing is that businesses answer to the government's signals. Nonetheless, as long as the companies every day are more and more aware of the importance of climate change, the importance of the implications of what they do, they voluntarily take steps and take measures in order to make contributions to this challenging and important issue, in my view, the most important for the future of humanity, which is climate change. But of course, the most important role is the responsibility of governments to give to the private sector the right signals for their behavior. Well, first of all, in order to reduce carbon emissions, we try to be very efficient in what we do. But I have to mention that our activity itself is not a very contaminant one. We are electricity transporters, and that is not an activity which in itself has important environmental implications. However, we try to do things very well in the proper manner, in an efficient manner, and also we compensate our carbon footprint. We have calculated and estimated that our emissions are of the order of 3,500 carbon equivalent tons. So we voluntarily buy bonds in a certified organization, South Pole, in order to compensate for those emissions, and that money is invested in indigenous community in Colombia for activities related to forest management and that type of things. Well, we all would like to see more decisive steps in the international arena. Now, we know how difficult that is because of the different interests involved in that. I understand that every country has its own interest and its own vision of what is convenient for them. That, of course, has implied a very slow movement in international agreements. I personally would like to see in Paris and in the next opportunities decisive movements in order to really give the different agents in the private sector, in all the different economic activities, to give signals for them to take the right investment and operations decisions, looking at the impact of what they do on carbon emission. Topics like carbon price, which could be also incentives or subsidies in order to do the right things on the environmental aspects, are a need, because otherwise we could talk about wonderful things, but to get things materialized is necessary to have the proper incentives. Now, the problem of that is that we don't have an international authority with the capacity of giving general incentives for everybody to behave in the same way, because we have to understand that voluntary movements in specific countries are very good, are welcome, but on the other hand, the result could not be as positive as they should be, because then what you can do is to give competitive advantages to some other competitors in other parts of the world. But I know it's going to take a long time to be able to make the proper advance in the right direction. Because we care about the topic. We know that at least in this specific issue of the positive gains, the potential gains of having power systems interconnected, there is a strong potential, and so we try to be involved, and we try to give our message to the parties involved.